Good afternoon, traders and investors. It's Will here again with another one. It's Friday. Hope you guys had a great day trading today. And it's the weekend. I mean, how can we complain here? So let's have a quick look into the markets here today. Going to run down the indexes, and it's really important, guys. We have some monthly candle closes. So every single chart we'll go over today, I will look into the monthly candle closes and see how that's going to set us up for May. So let's get into the charts, yeah? So S&P 500, monster day. Bull follow through in the morning. There was slight weakness here, as you can see, tail down in the morning, right? So we kind of came down in the after hours yesterday. That was to be expected. As I was saying in yesterday's video, the lower time frames were very overbought. And I was saying yesterday, I would not be surprised if overnight we do something like this to cool off the lower time frames, set the higher low, and then bulls just resume the uptrend. Because the move yesterday was so violent to the upside, completely engulfed this move. And usually when you do see that, most likely scenario is just a higher low into further continuation, right? So bulls in absolute complete control of the time frames now. You can see the daily candles, very strong, closing right into the high of this range. We actually broke it by about 3 points on the futures here. Still struggling with this resistance area, but that can probably be taken out next week if we do get some bullish earnings from Apple, and or Jerome Powell gives us something good to look forward to and kind of stays off the hawkish tone. So we're now well above our moving averages here, bull in control of the daily time frame, resuming the daily uptrend at this point. We now have a weekly confirmed bull flag into weekly continuation, guys. Very bullish candle here. It's a doji reversal candle, usually sets you up for some trend continuation. So we tag the 12 EMA, bulls in full control on the weekly. As you can see, tons of space on the RSI. MACD just now coming above into positive territory. So there is some further momentum to the upside that's possible here, guys. Our next area of resistance has to be these guys up here at around the 425 level on SPY. If you're looking at SPY, if you want the round number on SPY, you can see here it's right around 425. So that 425 area, if we do crush these guys in the next week or the next 2 weeks, this is going to be our next target level here. Now, what I wanted to point out before I move on to the NASDAQ, look, as I was saying yesterday, guys, second monthly close above our short-term moving averages. So that's point number one in favor of the bull. Just close the monthly candle at the high, similar to last month. That usually leads to some bullish continuation. Now, am I saying V-shaped to all-time highs? No, just means that there can be some continuation. And then potentially, if we do something like this, we will then confirm the monthly trend change to the upside as well. So now we were kind of struggling here, and it looks like we are confirming our monthly uptrend at this point. It remains to be seen if we can follow through and further confirm it, potentially something like that. So point number one for the bulls, point number two for the bulls, RSI now closing above its average. Point number three for the bulls, MACD is looking bullish. Looks like it wants to come back here and cross above, something that hasn't been in bullish territory pretty much since the market crash last year. So we're going to look very forward to that on the SPY. One thing at a time though. Next week, guys, do have to get through the FOMC and Apple earnings. NASDAQ actually pushing higher than our resistance. So you see SPY, it's not very clear, right? NASDAQ lead bull at this point, definitely closing above this resistance area. Very bullish close on the day. Daily trend continuation now confirmed to the bulls. Everything's looking good. Tons of space here on the daily time frames here to run up into those overbought levels. MACD seems like it wants to cross down on the daily, so bulls are in absolute full control of this time frame. Nothing really much to say on the daily time frame here. If we look down in the 4 hours could be slightly overbought. 1 hour as well. 1 hour is also in overbought territory. So it would not be surprising if we do come down and potentially do something like this Sunday night into the futures, or maybe even Monday for a slight little bit of consolidation. At that point, this would just be a retest of resistance that's now support. So bulls in full control. They now have this area of support, big support from all the price action down here. Still some space to come sit in the 12 EMA. On the weekly, same thing. So weekly confirmed bull flag. You love to see it from our lead bull sector, which has been the lead bull sector now. Well, it wasn't during this. XLF and XLV kind of took over, but it's been the lead bull sector pretty much since the beginning of the year, continuing now with follow through. Next targets on the weekly has to be up here at around 13.5, 13.6 on the Qs. That would look something like this. It would put you right around the 330 level, right? So anywhere between 325 and 330 is going to be a big level of resistance here, kind of a supply zone. But notice we are well above the moving averages here. Weekly, tons of space still. MACD still pointing bullish as well. So bulls in complete control, confirming the weekly uptrend continuation at this point. On the monthly, very, very important, guys. Look, March was an extremely bullish close, and it stood to argue that we were going to get some bullish continuation just off this candle close into April. They gave it to us. It might have taken all month, and they might have only given it to us in the last few days, but there was a lot of uncertainty this month. We were stuck in a range. Some banking crises resumed at the early part of this week. And now look, now with the last few days, with all the earnings passed, everybody's kind of fears are subsiding. All the major tech earnings are gone. And now it's allowing this thing to kind of spread its wings. And like we were saying, guys, this range was going to be broken with earnings, and that's exactly what happened. It could have broken to the downside, which it did, came down in Tiger 12 EMA and this support level here, and it also came back and started pushing above. So this range was indeed broken as we were expecting with all our earnings. On the monthly, point number one for the bulls, bullish continuation based solely off of the 2 monthly candle closes now above our short-term EMAs, bullish candle formation. So that's point number one. Point number two for the bulls, closing above their moving average RSI, and the MACD now starting to curl. It's almost crossing, guys. You haven't been positive MACD pretty much since the start of the market crash. So very, very bullish here, bullish metrics on all the larger time frames for the bulls, which is what you want to see. You want to see the overall bulls take over on the higher time frames. Russell. Now, Russell, very, very bullish day. I'm very happy with the options that we wrote yesterday early in the day, because today, even the ones for next week are about 50% worthless. Very happy on that. It was a trade. If you guys have been watching my videos and you participated, congratulations. I know not that many people watch, but that's why we're here. We're here to build some content. We're here to build some momentum, here to build some good trades for you guys. And I do this. I spend, 6 to 8 hours a day. I don't have to because I write options, right? But I love it so much, guys. I love it so much that even if I'm not trading all day, I'm just watching and researching more companies, more opportunities, right? So I spend 6 to 8 hours in front of charts looking at, hundreds of charts a week. So you guys don't have to. So I hope you appreciate the value. Now, on the Russell here, we are above our major support level at this point, right? Bulls are trying to recapture at this point our daily time frames. So what you want to see if you're a bull on the Russell is you'll want to see when this move tops out, wherever it tops out, you want to see a pullback and then a confirmation that will give you the daily trend change confirmed. However, if we come up on the weekly here, the weekly you'll see that we actually did set, even though it looks really, really messy, we did technically set a weekly higher low. So what bulls want to see into the next few weeks is we want to cross above all of our moving averages, even the 200 weekly. Not going to be easy, going to need some broad market support for this, but this is the lagging sector I am the most paying attention to because we have massive support levels down here. You can see it best on IWM, which is the actual ETF for it, right? So this is the target price range that I've been talking about now for the past 3 weeks. So if we do confirm and start pushing above these moving averages, you'll have a new weekly uptrend within a defined range. I agree, it's not the prettiest weekly uptrend, but it would be a weekly confirmed uptrend. You really want to see bulls push up into this higher area should we get broader market support. And like I said, I will be trailing this up on the short put side on this weekend. I'm going to really look into some call options with VIX so low. Look at the VIX, guys, 15.77. With the VIX so low, it would almost be a crime not to look at some stocks or indexes that are lagging behind, right, for some mean reversion plays. You could probably get leaps on this in the money, 75, 80 deltas for pretty cheap, with not that much volatility baked into them. So that's when you really get full advantage of the options. You're able to buy, you're able to be exposed to 100 shares of IWM without putting up $17,000, right? You may be able to get them. I'm just going to throw out a number here for 2-3 grand potentially for the ones that you want for about a year out. So you get the leverage, right? With VIX so low, that's what you have to be looking for. Now, getting into crypto. Crypto still in a weekly bull flag at this point. Let's come down to the daily. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So as you can see, guys, move down, big move down was followed by a very, very, very big move up. So we were able to recapture a lot of that downside move. And if you're a bull, that's what you want to see. You don't want to come do this and stay down here, get rejected, and then move lower, right? If the first bounce up goes this high into the move, the most likely scenario just becomes consolidation and then further test of the highs, right? So you could see something like that. It could also just go straight up, but I'm expecting kind of a bit of consolidation because this is a fairly big level, a bit more consolidation potentially. Might do something like this over the weekend or whatnot. We do still have massive, massive support down here. So anything above our 27,000 level will still be a higher low at this point on the daily time frame. So what you do want to see is potentially a tightening range, right? Or just the flat out continuation trade right there. So still bullish on Bitcoin, have no real reason to be bearish at this point. The weekly exaggerates that as well. So as you can see, we are in a weekly bull flag as well. So we have some massive, massive support. Like I was saying, moving averages coming up. We're not that overbought on the weekly. Well, the RSI is looking fairly bullish the MACD is looking fairly bullish as well. And just nothing bad to say, right? I would start to get nervous if we do start rolling over, but then again, we have so much space, guys, right? Before we actually reverse a potential weekly into a weekly downtrend, right? If you want to see a weekly downtrend, we'd basically have to do something like this, right? But to be able to to lose it like this is probably out of the question at this point, unless we get some really bad news. The only way you would lose the weekly uptrend at this point is if you do something like this, come up like this, and then break a low, right? So that's probably what you don't want to see, but we take it one step at a time here. For now, everything is still looking bullish. Bitcoin on the monthly candle close, it closes Sunday. So still some time for bulls to push up into this candle here for potential bullish continuation through the weekend. We'll see what happens. Don't want to get too ahead of myself. So we'll take a look at the monthly more on Sunday. So ETH, right? Kind of lagging behind Bitcoin. If you see Bitcoin, it took back a lot of its move, right? ETH, what did it do? Well, ETH is doing what I was saying that you don't want to see it do, but that's okay. It's just lagging behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin is our lead bull right now. ETH is a bit behind. ETH is still looking somewhat okay on the daily. I'm not going to lie. It's not the best looking chart. We are slightly below our moving averages here. I wouldn't be surprised if we do consolidate further. What you definitely don't want to see is something like this, right? Because then you would just confirm a daily downtrend at that point, and it would kind of be really deep. We do still have some massive support down here between 1800 levels. If we take a look on the weekly, what kind of plays against us? If you see on Bitcoin, right, we've taken back a lot. And on ETH, we're kind of still struggling, right? Struggling with this whole area. We do have moving average support. So I'm expecting ETH to kind of move sideways. And based off of what Bitcoin's going to do, the one reason why I'm not scared on ETH is because Bitcoin is set up so well for continuation to the long side. If ETH wasn't set up properly if Bitcoin wasn't set up properly to the long side, I would be more nervous for Ethereum, but since I'm pretty sure that Ethereum's going to follow Bitcoin's move, we can kind of take it as a lagging bull here. So still bullish on Ethereum, not much to worry about. I really want to see how this candle closes on the monthly because this is not looking that great for bullish continuation to the upside. Stranger things have happened, obviously, but you really want to see some push because now the candle formation isn't nice. We do have two closes above. Yes, we do. But when you see a candle like this, it kind of leads you to believe that there may be a bit more downside before potentially pushing up, which is fine. We still have a lot of space on the weekly time frame, right? A lot of space on the weekly time frame. But what bulls do have in their favor? RSI crossing to the upside and MACD as well looking like it wants to cross to the upside. Let's take a quick look at our tech names. So Apple, absolute monster session for Apple, right? So Apple here on the daily chart, we have now crushed our resistance levels. We're now beyond the trend line, right? If I pull back, you'll see which trend line that is. Big trend line. We've now closed right into it. We're coming to our area of resistance here. Our next resistance target is about 170, which we are pretty much almost there today. And beyond this guy, we have to look all the way up to about 175. So Apple, this stock is in a day, if you watch the previous videos, we're in a weekly uptrend with higher lows pretty much being set every single week, right? So we're in a weekly bull trend. We're in a daily confirmed uptrend as well at this point. And also the monthly, right? Monthly, at this point, it will be when bulls do come back, potentially set a higher low. I don't know where that's going to happen. They could do something like this. They could push higher and set it here, right? We still haven't really confirmed a monthly uptrend, but the monthly bounce, right, from this move down is absolutely monstrous. So love to see it for Apple. Congratulations to Apple bulls, anybody who holds it in their portfolio. Nothing really that's going to point me to be bearish right now. We're only looking at our next resistance levels to see where it might slow down. But as of now, no signs of slowing down. We'll take a look for earnings next week. Microsoft, same thing, right? So Microsoft, bullish continuation after earnings. We're now quite a ways away, right? We're about what, 10% away now from a potential, or 5% away from the gap itself. And to fill the gap, an actual 9% move down would be needed. So we're going to need some either bad earnings from Apple that pulls down the entire market, or something bad out of Fed Chair Powell to pull down this market, or bad macro for Microsoft to go down and fill that right away, right? As of now, in the daily time frame, I mean, we are a bit extended here on the RSI, so a slight pullback could be warranted just to set the daily higher lows and then potentially resume to the upside depending how deep the bears get. But as of now, bulls are in full control of this daily. I can't really be touching Microsoft in either direction until I see how the bears pull back into this. On the weekly time frame, I mean, guys, it's a weekly uptrend with a lot of follow through at this point. Resistance areas, next resistance areas are going to be around the 315 level. And after that, you're pretty much looking at all-time highs. So very, very, very bullish. Bulls are in full control of every time frame. The monthly time frame is doing the exact same thing as Apple. As you can see, bullish, we're now bullishly crossed over the RSI moving average. MACD is crossing for the first time since the bull market. 2 candle closes above our moving averages. I mean, a massive, massive move since the last move down. So creating so much space that the likely scenario is when we top out, we do just set a monthly higher low before resuming the uptrend, right? So very, very, very bullish on Microsoft. Amazon is kind of the technology stock where I've been saying it for years now at this point. Amazon had most of its retail growth somewhere in here, right? So 2013 to about 2017, 18-ish. After that, the retail business kind of started peaking, right? Kind of really started peaking after their massive expansion in those early years, And now, they're kind of feeling the effects of having to pivot on their AWS systems. So their earnings wasn't entirely bad, but as you can see, investors weren't as confident as they could have been, not enough to keep it up there and keep us pushing into our higher ranges here. So we're still, I mean, this is such an ugly uptrend, if I do say so myself. I mean, well, as you can see, like it got so wide here that now you're kind of expecting the most likely scenario. If we do come down a bit more, most likely scenario will be coming down to test this 101, 100 area here on the daily time frame. On the weekly time frame, we haven't created that much space. I would have liked to see a lot more space before pulling down. Unfortunately, we weren't able to close into the high 110s, 115s. So we'll take what we can get. Amazon, I do still like the stock long term. It is still at a fairly attractive level in terms of discounted from all-time highs, but it's there for a reason, guys. It's not growing as much as it used to be, right? If you look on a quarter-over-quarter basis, look how thin these profit margins are, right? So you can't, I mean, they are growing revenue. Amazon's a revenue monster, but until they can bring more of that to their bottom line, then it's kind of useless, right? If you make $100, but you spend $99, it's no better than the guy who makes $1 million and spends $999,000. Like, it's the same, right? It's the same. It's all about how much you keep. And that's why Wall Street has been a bit punishing this stock. It sucks to say because Amazon's been a legacy company. It's a household brand, but at this point, it's just not a crowd favorite. So I like Amazon better in the 100 to 90 area. You see this green box, right? If it dips into this green box, fine, perfect. I'm attracted to it. At these levels, if I do write some puts, it'll be around the 100 area, but I'm not going to go too heavy because I do want Amazon a bit deeper value. The margins just are not doing it for me. Can it have some price reversion here back to potentially the 200 to 120 if the broad market runs? Sure, but company specific, not my favorite one for the time being. Google. Now, Google as well has been a bit, how can I say this? Bogged down by its lack of growth, right? So they have been growing, but as you can see, guys, like on an annual basis, like this is they pulled so much of their growth forward in 2020 and 2021 that you can see now that it's tough for them to beat on a year-over-year basis. So their year-over-year growth now has slowed down. It's significantly up to what it was 5 years ago, But as you can see, guys, this is an advertising company. We're going into a recession, so not the best business model to go into a recession because advertising is a disposable expense for most companies, right? They will cut back on it. However, the chart's still looking bullish. So daily time frame, this is a lot cleaner than Amazon was. So as you can see, bulls put in a lot of work to come back to our big resistance area. And next week with the FOMC and Apple earnings, I need to see Google push above this resistance. They need to have a big 3-4% day to push through this resistance and you know, tell the bears that, okay, this level is now ours, and then come above it and then potentially come and sit down on it if they want to, build some accumulation for more continuation of the upside. But next week, I have to see Google break this resistance area. At this point, it's just becoming comical. They're staying there. They're knocking on the door, right? At a certain point, the bears will eventually have to just let them through because we're probably exhausting the order book to the sell side here. You know, there must be people that, the people that are defending this wall is basically they're running out of shares to sell to the bulls at this point. So if you can see, MACD kind of wants to cross. RSI is above the average here. Bullish continuation on the day today. It's still above our moving averages, so the chart is looking bullish. On the weekly, you can see it even more, right? So we are still in a weekly uptrend. At this point, we've come down. You can say it's kind of messy. I'll agree with you. It's kind of messy, but this could be interpreted as your weekly high or low, and now we might potentially get some further upside continuation. Any break above here will be a confirmed weekly continuation to the uptrend, and our next targets after that will be anywhere between the 115 to 120 levels for Google. On the monthly chart, same thing. We've now closed above our moving averages. As you can see, closed right under this resistance area for the month, but still bullish, very bullish. Trend reversal on the monthly here. The RSI is barely crossing above, and the MACD is curling as well. But as you can see, not as obvious as Apple and Microsoft. This is a play that I'm interested in for a laggard play to those two. Now, Meta. So Meta, this stock cannot be stopped, apparently. Meta is actually our first of the big FANG stocks that has put in a green print on the MACD. So we've already crossed on the monthly time frame, right? We're now well above on our monthly RSI, above the average, still nowhere close to overbought levels. Meta, at some point, right, it's going to be very difficult for them to just do this back to all-time highs, right? The most likely scenario after such a massive drop is to set a lower high, and then you have to, it's all about reversals, guys. Then they have to set the monthly high or low, and then you can say it's a confirmed monthly uptrend. This is not a confirmed monthly uptrend. This is literally just a retracement from this massive move down. So at a certain point, they're going to have to confirm the monthly uptrend. They're doing a great job of creating so much space now that the most likely scenario is a higher low off of this. However, right, they still have to do it. So we're going to look at our lower time frames and see where this move can potentially top out. Like I said on the weekly, it's more clear, more data. So we're now above our 237 resistance. We closed above it. These were the last area of resistance before our gap fill. So look at this, guys. If we go back here to our gap fill levels, we're now at the last guy that was there before the gap, or after the gap, sorry, excuse me, 245, and then you start filling the gap. There is some previous price history resistance that's now 3 years old, right? So that's why I don't take it too much to heart, right? If this level starts to fill, they will start filling it probably aggressively, right? So we're going to look for that. Remains to be seen if Meta comes down and fills a bit of this gap first or a bit of this gap first. But as of now, there's really no signs to be bearish at this point. You can say that the RSI is overbought, but guys, this entire move, the RSI was overbought multiple occasions, and as you can see, the end result was still up. So as of now, bulls are in complete control of all the time frames, down from the monthly, the weekly, the daily. So no reason to be short, in my opinion, not just yet. And yeah, just pretty much outperformance from Meta as a whole. And now I want to take a look at Tesla, because Tesla is really interesting now. Okay, Tesla, what do we have? We have a weekly confirmed downtrend. We have now apparently got rejected here at our lower levels of 152. We did not fill the entire gap. We only filled a third of the gap, still down to 145, 146 potential for the gap fill. However, look at this. We have now engulfed the last leg down entirely, which is a big move. We've created a lot of space off this low right now. So now it's becoming debatable to where they may just, if we get bullish earnings from Apple and if Jerome Powell isn't hawkish next week, wash out, because Tesla is going to come screaming into this gap fill. In my opinion, it's now bullish here. You can see the RSI is curling to the upside. MACD also starting to curl to the upside here. Lower time frames are looking really good. As you can see, guys, on Tesla, what was I saying yesterday is I was saying that if you want Tesla to reverse, they have to confirm the monthly uptrend. What did they, the 1 hour uptrend. What did they do overnight? Exactly what we said they were going to do, right? So as you can see, guys, we came up, came down right at the open, set the higher low compared to these lows here. And what did we do? We confirmed the lower time frame uptrends at this point. You could see it also on the 1 hour, right? It wasn't that clean. It didn't last for that long, but this was our confirmed hourly bull continuation, right? So the 4 hour still needs to set that higher low. Hasn't really done it yet. So what we may see is something like this, come, sit on these guys as support, and then potential further continuation to the upside. That is what I'm looking for, because now at this point, even the 4 hour has engulfed this entire move. That's exactly what you want to see if you're a bull. You want to see the bulls put in a lot of space like this compared to this low here, so that the expected move after that becomes a higher low to confirm. So if we're now, right, so first things first, we confirm the 15-minute trend change, right? Confirm the 15-minute trend change here, continued on it. This was the hourly, right? So if we look at this, this was pretty much, this was the hourly confirmed trend change. At this point, we need to confirm the 4 hour trend change. And after that, you start to talk about the possibility of a daily trend change. So one thing at a time, but bulls put in a lot of good work. Would not surprise me at all if we get bullish continuation on Tesla next week. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. We can run on semiconductors real quick. Semiconductors, very, very bullish on the day, right? So I was looking at that. A lot of plays, like I said, I wrote some puts on AMD yesterday, caught it at the lows. Very happy about that. SMH was able to hold our weekly area of support. As you guys can see, that support level is thick. It's a channel. Can't really pinpoint an area. It's an entire channel with their 200 right here sitting there. The 200 daily moving average didn't even come down close to it. So as you can see, guys, we have now confirmed a reversal, a very nice reversal, because bulls have put in a lot of space. Now, could it do something like this? If it does something like this, we would confirm the daily downtrend. Remains to be seen if it gets any follow through, but for now, the bulls excessively strong on the day, and it gets even more clear as to why on the weekly. Why were they strong? Why did it push back like that? And what did it give? Well, it potentially gave us our weekly higher low. Weekly higher low, bounced off the 26 here. The one thing that I don't like is the MACD curling over like this, but it could just extend like that. It's done that tons of times. So we're looking out next week. Got some big news. Remains to be seen what's going to happen for semiconductors next week. On the monthly, monthly is still pretty much a monthly uptrend at this point. So we're now 4 months into this. Semiconductors led the entire sector, as you guys know. MACD curling over right now, starting to want to go bullish. Our RSI is still trending above our trend line right here. And yeah, I mean, semiconductors, the problem with semiconductors is that there's one in particular, NVIDIA, that's kind of been doing all the heavy lifting, right? So now if you want to see some outperformance, what you have to see is you have to see NVIDIA kind of stop outperforming the rest of the index, right? If NVIDIA can only go up 1%, stuff like that, you want to see names like ON Semiconductor go up 2-3%, right? NVIDIA cannot do all of the heavy lifting. So names like ON Semiconductor, we're still at this point in a weekly uptrend, right? Set the higher lows this week. Very, very beautiful rejections here. So we may get some continuation like that. What did AMD do? AMD did the exact same thing. We set the weekly higher low at this point. Remains to be seen how much follow through we can get. But this is a confirmed weekly higher low at this point because of the candle close, now above the moving averages. What bulls want to see is bulls want to keep pushing, right? I don't care if they stay within this range, doesn't matter, so long as we don't give up this weekly low right here. So that's what you're looking out for on a lot of semiconductor names. TSM, kind of same thing, right? TSM now, unfortunately, in a weekly downtrend. However, this chart kind of looks like Tesla, doesn't it? It kind of looks like Tesla, how we lost the weekly uptrend. However, we still haven't really started testing the lower end of this massive move up. So that still gives me a bit of confidence. As you can see, guys, we are trading slightly above our 200-day moving average right here, which is this blue line. Sorry if you don't see it that well, but it's this thick blue line right here, right? It is, in my opinion, this chart looks fairly bullish. However, there is some macro risk with the whole Taiwan and China situation, so be very careful with that. That's some risk that you can't really take off the table, right? It has to be in the back of your mind. It's the #1 reason Warren Buffett sold this stock in the first place, because he admitted that he underestimated the risk itself. But if you are in this, you're looking for this blue line to hold, the 82 level. You want to see bulls regain as much of this down move as possible, set the daily uptrend anew, and that would kind of confirm that your weekly upswing is underway. So that's pretty much it, guys. Went over a lot of things today. And I will be doing a few videos over the weekend. We're going to do a market update on Sunday, just look over a couple of things. But I want to give you guys 5 plays in 2 different sectors for the next weeks, which will be for pretty much the whole year. They're kind of like buy and hold type of plays, because I do the options usually beginning of the week in these daily market live streams. So if you like the video, I would appreciate it. Just give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing perhaps. And I mean, it's Friday, guys. Go out and do something good. Go out, hang out with your friends. Don't stay too stressed out about the markets, and enjoy it. Really, really, really enjoy all the time that you guys have. I love you all, and I'll catch you in the next one.